I always remember that evening, which was different from the calm and dull nights that had become my routine. Everything changed suddenly that night. I went through my typical rituals: a warm bath, a cup of chamomile tea, and a book under the subdued light of my bedside lamp. I was 52, but internally, I still felt youthful. I refused to allow time to define who I was. I took care of myself, exercised regularly, and when I glanced in the mirror, what I saw was someone still filled with vitality. However, there was always a sense of emptiness I couldn't feel. The barista's name was Leo. Each time I went to the small cafe on the corner, I felt an inexplicable attraction to him. He was 25, had a friendly smile, and his kindness made me stay longer than needed. Over the last few months, I had found various reasons to visit more frequently, sometimes for coffee, sometimes simply for the opportunity to see him. I kept convincing myself it was harmless, but my heart raced whenever he acknowledged me by name. That night, after picking up my order, I saw Leo locking up the cafe. He waved at me before making his way to his bicycle, but when he swung his leg over, he lost his balance and fell onto the pavement. "Leo!" I gasped, my heart racing as I rushed over. He grimaced while rubbing his ankle. "I'm fine, really," he insisted, though his voice suggested otherwise. "Nonsense," I said firmly. "Come inside and let me take a look." He hesitated, but my insistence left him no option. Supporting him, I helped him into my apartment just across the street. I led him to the couch and got my first aid kit. As I cleaned the scrape on his knee, my hands shook slightly. Up close, I noticed details I hadn't before: the small scar above his brow, the depth in his hazel eyes, and the way he studied me in return. "I hate troubling you like this," Leo said softly. "You're not a bother," I reassured him. "And please don't tell me you're fine when you're clearly in pain." A small chuckle escaped him. "You always take care of others, don't you?" Something in his tone made me pause. I met his gaze, and the atmosphere between us shifted. I was not merely a customer he prepared coffee for, I was someone he recognized, someone he acknowledged. "Leo, you're not just some barista to me," I confessed. "I see how you treat people, with kindness and warmth." I hesitated, feeling my cheeks redden. "Being around you makes me feel something I haven't felt in a long while." His expression changed, and there was a certain intensity in his eyes, something magnetic. He leaned in slightly, his fingers grazing mine as I completed securing his bandage. The touch sent a thrill through me. "Olivia," he said tentatively, "the place I'm renting is far, and commuting every day is exhausting. I've been considering finding something nearer, but it's unachievable with my financial limits." An idea hit me: I have a guest house. In the back, it's vacant if you require a place to reside. It's available for a reasonable fee of course. His eyes grew wide. "Really, you don't have to do that." "I want to," I said simply. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "All right, thank you, Olivia. This means a lot." The next morning I watched from my window as Leo and a friend moved his few belongings into the guest house. He caught me watching and grinned, sending an unexpected thrill through me. That evening I knocked on his door. "I made dinner, would you like to join me?" Leo smiled. "I'd love that." We sat across from each other, sharing stories, laughter, and a bottle of wine. The conversation deepened, revealing fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities. As the evening wore on, the space between us felt smaller and the silence charged with something spoken. "Olivia," he said suddenly, his voice quieter, "I've never met anyone like you. There's a light in you, something alive." My breath hitched. No one had said anything like that to me in years. "Leo," the first whispered, "this night feels different." He leaned in, his eyes searching mine. "Because it is." And just like that, everything changed. Over the following weeks, Leo and I settled into an unexpected rhythm. He would leave early in the morning for work, and I would find myself watching from the window, waiting for his return. Some evenings he would bring home pastries from the cafe and would sit outside talking about everything and nothing. There was a comfort between us, a connection that neither of us acknowledged but both of us felt deeply. One evening a storm rolled in. The rain poured heavily, drenching the streets. Just as I was about to settle in for the night, a knock came at my door. I opened it to find Leo standing there, his clothes soaked through the powers out in the guest house, he said sheepishly, and I didn't want to sit alone in the dark. I smiled, stepping aside to let him in. You're always welcome here. I handed him a towel, and as he dried off, I poured us both a glass of wine. We sat by the fireplace, the flames casting flickering shadows around the room. The storm raged outside, but inside everything was quiet, intimate. Leo set his glass down and turned to me. Olivia, I need to tell you something. My heart pounded. What is it? I've been trying to ignore this feeling, but I can't. Being around you feels right, and I think about you all the time. I swallowed hard, emotions surging through me. Leo, this is complicated, I know, he said softly, but that doesn't change how I feel. The silence stretched between us, heavy with anticipation. Slowly, hesitantly, Leo reached in, kissing my lips softly. I didn't pull away. Instead, I met his gaze, letting myself get lost in the warmth of his eyes, and in that moment I knew nothing would ever be the same again.